Another way we can create animations, 2D animations, is by using multiple sprites. Right? We can use a sprite sheet to create animations that are outside of Unity, and we're just going to bring the animation into Unity. So we're not going to be creating animations inside Unity. Okay, so to demonstrate that, let me just reorganize my scene a little bit, or my project a bit. Just going to move these into the fish folder, and let's start a new scene. Okay, and what I found here is a bunch of resources by Sith Gesture, and I'll post a link as well. So I'm just going to use one of these characters as an example. All right, so let's grab the pirate character. All right, so this is a PNG file. This is one image with a lot of different poses. Don't think I can do that directly, so I'm going to save it. Okay, and then let's try to bring this into Unity. Okay, so now you can see that, again, this is a sprite, and we want to change this to multiple again, so we can slice it up. Okay, open up the sprite editor, and here we want a grid setup, right? Because you can see that these are all properly sort of boxed off characters here. So if we do that, 64 by 64, that's obviously way too big. So what we want to do is, basically I kind of want to have a feeling of how big the grids should be. About 3247, maybe we'll try that. And we'll start, actually, yep. So that roughly looks right. I think I'm cutting off a bit here. Right, so I'm kind of guessing what's going to be the best size for this. Obviously, there is a better way of doing this. Actually, sorry, that wasn't very good. So what you can do is, let's figure out how big this image is. Right, so it's 128 times 192, and there are 4 columns and 4 rows. So we'll just divide these numbers by 4, and that would be the grid size. So let's try that again. Right, so 128 of 432, so that was correct. And then 192 divided by 4, that's 48. So we were right. So that was a good size. Okay, so that just to recap. So we know the size of this image is 128. That's the width by 192, which is the length here, and we know there are 4 grid that we need to fit in here, and then 4 on this side, so we divided the width by 4 and then also the length by 4, and that gives us the right size we want to use, right, since this image is properly organized. Okay, so if we click on each one of them, we can start to rename these parts. So I'm just going to say this is right. So I'm just going to quickly rename these. idle 0. Actually, I'll say down 0, down 1. So you get the idea. I'm gonna quickly do this first and then I'll come back. Name them all. Now we can hit apply. Let's close this. Now you can see that we have all these individual images ready to go, and we've sliced up this image nicely. Now how do you create an animation from these images, right? So basically what we want to do is like every 4 images create an animation for this character to go down or go left or go right or go up, right? So it's fairly quick, fairly simple. You just select all the animations, all the images used in this one animation, and then drag it into the scene. And Unity is going to assume that you are creating a new animation based on these parts, based on these objects. So we're going to say this is animation is going down, or we'll just say down, walk down. Okay. So there's our little character guy. I do want to make one change, which is here, pixels to units. Now what this means is basically you're telling the system how you want to map the pixels in 2D into the units in 3D. Remember, in Unity, everything is in 3D, even 2D games. And these are your unit inside Unity, right? So the scale is 1 to 1, 1 for this character. Now if we change pixels to unit to 50, you can see that the character is getting a bit bigger because now we're saying 50 pixels equals 1 unit instead of 100 pixels equaling to 1 unit. So that's going to make the character a little bit bigger. So I'm just gonna, actually I remember one thing, let's go back to the camera. I just want to make sure I got everything set up here. I think that's fine because the original image is a bit smaller. So I am just gonna make it, just gonna tweak this number a bit so we can see it a bit easier. Let's do 15. And also filter mode, let's make it point so we don't apply any filters, so we can sort of see. I think oftentimes for 2D images you want to do that so that it stays sharp. Right, okay. So I'm just going to reset the position of this little character so it's in the middle. Right. Okay, now you notice that we have this object called down 0, and it's got the animator created, and it's also got the animation that we created earlier when we saved the animation. And if we just play this, see that we have that animation now. It's automatically grabbing all these 4 images and combining them into one animation. And again, we can go to animation tools and we can tweak this. Right, so we notice that we can actually make this a bit bigger. That you can actually see each image here in the animation tool, and it's telling you what sprite is being used for that frame. Now we're sampling a little bit fast, so let's put the game view up here. Right, so this is a fairly fast walk cycle, so I'm gonna change this to 6. Yeah, I think that's fine. So let's go with 6. Okay, I'm gonna save the scene before I forget. Okay, so now we have the walk cycle when he's walking down. Now let's just create the rest of it. So let's click on the next 4 frames that we want to use for the left animation, walking left animation. And we can simply drag this into this object. and Unity will prompt to create an animation. So we give it a name. Now see, we have the walk left animation. It's not going to create a new animator because we dragged these sprites into this one object. I'm also just going to rename this to pirate. And I think I want just to be consistent, I want the animator to be pirate as well. Okay, come back to the pirate. You can see that now we have the walk left animation, and it's pretty quick again, so we're going to go change the sample to 6. All right, again you can see the animations down here, your sprites. Okay, very quickly, let's finish the rest. Drag this into pirate, walk right, and then drag in this pirates again, walk up. Okay, so we have down, change that to 6, change that to 6. Okay, good. So now we have all 4 animations there. Excellent. Now if we take a quick look at the animator, see that we have multiple. Let me just get rid of that. I was playing around with this earlier. So we have all our states in here, or all our animations. So remember, we created 4 animations. I think I just got rid of one. Let me just reconnect that. Okay. Let me just redo that again. Okay. Okay, we have all 4 animations here. You notice whenever I drag a new animation into the object, it'll automatically add this into the animator here. All right, so I kind of like to take advantage of the visual editor and just position them accordingly. Right, so we have this walk animation, up, down, left, right. Right, so we have all 4 animations. That's great. Now if let me move this down here this time, and when we play this game, you can see that we're in the walk down animation. In the animator, whatever is being animated will be highlighted like this. Right. So in the next video, we'll talk about, or in the next step, we're going to talk about how we can control the different animations depending on user input. Right? So we're going to make this character go up, down, left, and right using the arrow keys.